All right, what is going on, beautiful people? For those of you who do not know, my name is Salvador Chang, and I want to go ahead and welcome you to the YouTube channel. For the most part on this channel, we document a skydiver's journey from becoming a skydiver to becoming a base jumper, which I recently did. I don't know if you can classify me as an official base jumper yet because I haven't got all my objects in yet. But anyway, a base jumper to a wingsuit pilot. That's primarily what we're documenting on this journey. So if that's something that may interest you or sounds like something that piques your interest, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe moving forward so you don't miss anything. Sorry, I kind of got distracted by these ducks here. I don't know if you could see that. Well, back to the topic at hand. Yeah, once again, like, comment, subscribe if that's something that interests you. So today you clicked on this video clearly because you want to learn not only how to identify your limitations in life when trying to achieve your goals, but you also want to learn how to surpass them and obviously grow as an individual moving forward. That's why you clicked this, and that's exactly what I'm going to get into here. So I went ahead and I have washable markers and I have a notebook here. I went ahead and drew some diagrams for you guys. This way, not only can you listen to what I'm saying, but you can also visualize it. I'm a visual person. I like to see it, and then once I understand the concept, kind of put my hands on it. But that's for you guys to do because you guys know your goals and what you're trying to achieve moving forward. But I'm just gonna help you, give you like a guideline or a blueprint in order to achieve your goals. So first and foremost, before we get too deep into everything, I wanna go ahead and introduce a book that has not only shaped the way that I think, but kind of changed my life moving forward. I definitely took some key knowledge and information away from this book. The name of the book is called The Way of the Superior Man, and it's written by David Deland, so I definitely highly suggest that you check it out. So the two chapters that we're going to be going over today are going to be chapter 4 and chapter 8. I'm just going to give a quick excerpt from the books. Once again, that's not going to be long, it's going to be quick, but I think they're going to really solidify the ideas that I'm trying to express in this video. So once again, this is from chapter 4. It's called Know Your Real Edge and Do Not Fake It. So the chapter says, "It is honorable for a man to admit his fears, resistances, and edge for practice. It is simply true that each man has his limits, his capability for growth, and his destiny. But it is dishonorable for him to lie to himself or others about his real place. He shouldn't pretend he is more enlightened than he is, nor should he stop short of his actual edge. The more a man is playing his real edge, the more valuable he is as good company for other men. The more he can be trusted to be authentic and fully present. Where a man's edge is located is less important than whether he is actually living his edge in truth rather than being lazy or deluded. In any given moment, a man's growth is optimized if he leans just beyond his edge, his capability, and his fears. He should not be too lazy, happily stagnating in the zone of security and comfort. Nor should he push far beyond his edge, stressing himself unnecessarily, unable to metabolize his experience. He should lean just slightly beyond the edge of fear and discomfort, constantly in everything he does." So there you guys go. Once again, that was chapter 4, which is Know Your Real Edge and Don't Fake It. And then once again, chapter 8, which is Lean Just Beyond Your Edge. And in my opinion, when you were talking about our edge or knowing your real edge or leaning just beyond your real edge as a man, you can replace the word edge for comfort zone. And we're gonna get into that right now as I get into these diagrams. Okay, so this is the real meat and potatoes, and I really wanna show you guys this. And if you wanna take a screenshot, go ahead. But this is the graph we're gonna be using moving forward. This is the graph that I'm excited about to share with you guys, and I've had a lot of time to think about this concept, so I hope it comes across clearly, because once again, I drove from Twin Falls, Idaho, all the way to Florida, and this is basically what I thought about the whole time, was pushing past your limitations and getting over, I guess, limiting beliefs and growing as an individual. So let me just explain this to you guys right here. This is gonna be your growth as an individual and your limitations and your comfort zone. So let me just explain this. So this is 0% to 100%. Ideally, as a man, when it says lean beyond your edge, in my opinion, my edge is gonna be around 70%, meaning anywhere between 0 and 70% is my safe and secure area. This is where I feel the most comfortable. This is where I'm not really pushing myself. I'm not really learning anything new. I'm not really growing as an individual. These are all the skills that I've acquired to this date, and these are the things that I can do without a hesitation of a doubt in my mind, where I can execute on them and I'm not really nervous about them. Now, this is the safe and secure. You can choose to live your life in this bubble if you would like, but I've learned moving forward, once again, with pushing myself and then finding my limitations as a human, that the most growth in life, and I'm sure this is gonna be obvious, but the most growth in life happens just beyond your comfort zone. So we have this green section here, which is gonna be the growth between 70 and 90%. This is where I like to play. If you haven't noticed, I like to push the edge. I like to kind of push the envelope and do things outside of the box, kind of things that people don't necessarily think are safe. But in my opinion, I know my limits and I'm safe. So once again, 0 to 70 is going to be your safe and secure zone. From 70 to 90 is going to be your growth zone, where the most growth happens. But this is where you're going to be uncomfortable. This is where people are going to start doubting you. This is where people are going to tell you you can't do that. And then maybe it's your job to show them that you can do that, or maybe it's your job to understand yourself, to know your limits, to say, hey, yeah, they're right, I cannot do that. But once again, this is the growth section, and I just wanted to identify that. This is where the most growth happens in life, and this is where you should be always. This is where it says just push beyond your edge. This is the edge you're talking about. You should be growing. Now, on the flip side of that, I don't want you to think, hey, yeah, just go hard in the paint, do whatever you want, live life like a loose cannon and be reckless. This is not what I'm talking about. In the growth section, we're making smart decisions, we're making educated decisions, we're being calculated about our decisions. We're not living reckless, we don't have a death wish, we're just trying to live our life to the best of our abilities and the capabilities that we have at this moment. Now, once you start playing enough in this 70 to 90% zone, what you'll notice is the things that you didn't feel comfortable with in the beginning will start to now move to the safe and secure zone. For instance, when I first became a skydiver, a lot of this was in the 70% zone. I was really nervous. I couldn't even, like, the second that people opened the door to get out of the plane, I was crapping my pants. Like, I remember breathing really heavy, like, oh God, I'm about to die. But obviously, with time, and obviously you can see my progression, I'm jumping off of bridges now, I'm base jumping. This 70%, or me getting out of the plane, became in my safe and secure zone. So as you grow as an individual, the stuff that you're working on in this green zone will eventually move over to your safe and secure zone. And then this is how you're constantly pushing the edge, as if you just loop back and forth between this safe and secure zone and this green zone, constantly pushing the envelope, but not too far. Now, with that being said, this red zone is what happens when you push too far. Now, as an example, I'm gonna go back to when I used to be a bodybuilder, or when I used to lift weights and I used to do all these different types of pursuits. Obviously, my goal was different back then. But anyway, I remember I joined a CrossFit gym, and then this is not the only time it's happened. I also joined a boxing gym. When I joined those gyms, obviously I was pushing myself and I was working within this green zone, which was uncomfortable for me. This was new skills that I was learning, but then eventually it got to the red zone. Now I'm gonna give you a little story about the red zone. When it comes to competition, if you haven't noticed, I'm the type of person who likes to push the envelope and go a little hard, sometimes harder than I should have. And this is where you learn your limitations as an individual. So if we're using the workout as an example, I remember I signed up for a boxing class and it was like a free trial or whatever. So I was like, all right, I'll do it. I'll sign up. And the coach, I guess he saw something in me, or maybe he wanted to put my ego in check, which is probably, I mean, sometimes it's needed, but he just kind of pushed me and pushed me and pushed me. And he was kind of like a drill sergeant. He was calling us out. He was like, stop being a little girl. Not trying to be offensive, obviously, but this is the terminology that he used, and I don't take well to that type of terminology. I have a bit of a pride sense chip on my shoulder. Anyway, he was saying these things and I was like, I'll show you. So I was going hard, going hard, going hard. I finished the workout, ended up throwing up, like ran out of the gym, throwing up in the parking lot. The coach came out, was kind of had this smirk on his face, like, yeah, I knew, like, you didn't have what it takes. But anyway, this is what happens when you push yourself a little too hard. So for instance, in that situation, I knew my limits. I pushed myself past my limits, out of my comfort zone, which yes, you should do, you should grow. But on the other hand, on the other side, on the other hand, you should not push yourself too far, because that's when you start encountering problems. That's when things can get a little sketchy, a little dangerous, a little reckless. And this is usually when people get injured. This is usually when people get hurt. Sometimes it may lead to death, depending on the situation, the circumstances. In that specific situation, obviously nothing bad happens besides me losing my lunch or my dinner in the parking lot. But I just want to explain to you that this red zone is not a place that you want to be. From 90 to 100%, you never want to be full throttle in your goals. You never want to push yourself beyond your limits to the point where you're going to get hurt. It's kind of like a red line in your car. Yeah, you can stomp your foot on the gas and kind of push the car to its limits, but you never want to push past that red zone, because you can end up blowing your engine and then your car is totaled and you're done and you're just out of the race. And nobody wants to be out of the race of life. Live in the green. Like the book says, you should live just beyond your edge, and you should never fake your edge. Do not be one of those people who thinks or acts like their skills are better than they are. Know your place in the world, know where you're at on your personal journey, because your journey is different than everyone else's, and then act accordingly. Be humble, do not get yourself into trouble. And as a closing statement, I went ahead and wrote this down because it's super important, and I want to leave you guys with this. Know your own personal limits. This is so important. My limits are not your limits, and your limits are not my limits. Do not follow what I am doing as an individual. I am on a different chapter, I'm on a different set in my ladder than you are. And there's no reason to compare your story to my story. Everybody's story is different, and everybody's progression is different. So once again, do not compare yourself to me. And I'm trying my best not to compare myself to other people, even though it's hard, because when I see people absolutely shredding and ripping, I'm just like, man, I want to be there ASAP. But once again, I have to do it on my own time, and I have to know myself. Moving into the next thing that I want to leave you guys with. Be safe and make good decisions. This is all that I ask from you guys. I want you guys to absolutely annihilate your goals. I want you to crush your goals. I want you to make life your bitch. But I also want to make sure that you make good decisions along your way, because the last thing I want to see is somebody get injured, somebody get hurt, or somebody fall flat on their face. I mean, yes, you have to fall flat on your face, but I don't want it to be to the point where you just quit at life, or life quits on you because you're just pushing too hard. I hope that makes sense. Point number 3, don't make any decisions you're not willing to pay the consequences for. Once again, on this growth ladder, you have to make the choice to go beyond your comfort zone. But at the same time, you have to make the choice, and some choices require you to push yourself harder than others. And once again, I recommend you take baby steps, but you have to be willing to make decisions that you're willing to pay the consequences for. Yes, you have to risk it to get the biscuit in life. Yes, you have to risk it. The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward, but make sure they're calculated risks. I want you to be smart about the decisions you're making, and I want you to understand the consequences of the decisions you're making moving forward. And then last but not least, before I forget, of course I had to write this down, like, comment, and subscribe. If you feel like this has helped you, or this feels like a journey that you personally want to watch and be a part of, once again, I want to become a skydiver. Done. Check. I want to become a base jumper. I'm just scratching the surface on becoming a base jumper, and then eventually I want to become a wingsuit pilot, and then I want to go ahead and combine base jumping and wingsuit piloting to do proximity flying, to carve down the mountains. That's my end goal in life. As once I do that, I don't know what else I'm going to do in life. I'm kind of like a dog chasing a car. Once I get the dog, once I get the car, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the car as the dog. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sure we'll cross that bridge when we get there. But if this is something that you enjoyed, if you took something away from this video, if you learned something, if you're gonna live just beyond your edge and you're gonna push yourself, of course not too far, but you're gonna push yourself and grow as an individual, go ahead and smash that like button. Go ahead and share this with somebody who needs to be inspired, who needs to get off their freaking ass and do something to change their life and push themselves beyond their edge so they can be the best version of themselves. And go ahead and subscribe. Yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Love you guys. Till next time. I hope and truly, I hope you take this, and I hope you identify what your comfort zone is, push just beyond it, and become a better individual. That's all I want at the end of the day for you guys. And that's all I'm trying to do at the end of the day, is become the best version of myself. And hopefully I can teach and share and inspire something along the way. Till next time, guys, like, comment, subscribe.